The voice of Little Britain and everybody's favourite Time Lord, Tom Baker, takes time out from filming Monarch of the Glen to tell Kate Sanderson about his past life as a Catholic monk. The Doctor is in. He's the runaway favourite incarnation of the world's most famous Time Lord, Doctor Who. Though it's actually 23 years since he took on the Daleks with no more than a knitted scarf to help him. Tom Baker is the latest addition to the court of Monarch of the Glen, and Kate Sanderson took the high road to talk to him on location about his colourful life and career.
Hello there, I'm here in the fictional village of Glen, and behind me is the set of the popular feel-good Sunday night drama Monarch of the Glen. They're currently filming the new series, and this time round they've got a brand new member of the MacDonald clan, and he comes in the formidable form of Tom Baker.
One, action.
Well, Tom, you're obviously filming away with Monarch of the Glen at the moment. Thanks very much for taking some time out between scenes today to have a chat with us on Heaven and Earth. How are the Highlands treating you?
Well, they do influence me a lot. They couldn't not influence me. It's so dramatic and wonderful up here. In fact, it is so amazing up here that I think I shouldn't try and develop it, because language actually breaks down in front of this scene.
You can't describe how beautiful it is.
Well, one just keeps saying, my word, or goodness me, isn't that beautiful?
Tell me about your character then, Donald.
I've replaced Richard Bryars and Julian Fellows, I think. It's a cutback. I'm actually, because together I actually am as big as both of those two together, physically.
And he's eccentric, isn't he?
Well, yes, I think he is said to be very odd, but I mean, people say I'm very odd.
Well, I didn't want to be rude, but when I said I was coming to talk to you, most people's reaction is he's a
bit odd.
He's a bit balmy.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes people will say anything. I suppose it's better than saying, oh,
he's
really?
Boring. Yeah.
I don't know why they say that to me, about me, but yes, this character's a bit odd, and I'm supposed to be odd.
I thought I knew all the McDonald's.
You don't know this one.
Oh, yes, I do. You can thank PC Callum for that. There's copies all over. He spent his crime prevention kitty for the whole year in you.
I'm flattered, but I'm stuck.
I wanted to ask you a bit more about your acting, and of course Doctor Who is the role that really put your name on the map, and forever. A recent poll of fans put you as the ultimate all-time Doctor Who. Don't laugh. That must be very flattering, mustn't it?
Well, the thing is that I was created, of course, by the fans of Doctor Who. They created me, all those people. They're very loyal. As a matter of fact, I've left my body when I die, which I don't suppose will be very long now. I've left my body to the Doctor Who Appreciation Society.
That's very kind of you.
Well, no, they asked me about it before, because they're very sweet. Yeah, so they're going to give me a coat of varnish and stand me up in some place where they'll come and see me.
If you believe that, you'll believe anything.
There you are. Come along, Doctor. You're supposed to be in the sick bay.
Am I? Don't you mean the infirmary?
No, I do not mean the infirmary. I mean the sick bay. You're not fit yet.
Not fit. I'm the doctor.
No, Doctor. I'm the doctor, and I say that you're not fit.
You may be a doctor, but I'm the doctor. The definite article, you might say.
Look here, Doctor. You're not fit.
You got this role sort of in your 40s after a time when, you had been out of work sometimes, which that caused problems, didn't it, with your first marriage, and particularly your parents-in-law?
Well, yes, I did have a difficult time, but I mean, the chances of actually being successful are very remote.
It must have been quite difficult to sort of hold your nerve and realise or believe that something good would come up, because you had a difficult time, didn't you, while you were out of work, while you were not working as an actor?
Yes, I was so unhappy because I felt that when I was near them,
this is
that I was diminished.
The whole
by
family.
Them. Yes,
as
by
in the parents-in-law.
Yes, that's right. Yes, not by the girl I was married to. She was a good girl. I don't suppose we had much of a chance with my anxiety, But yeah, I was diminished and desperate.
How did you just decide that you had to move away from that marriage?
Well, because I was so unhappy, really. I was just so unhappy, I fled the scene, really. I mean, we used to meet afterwards, but I fled the scene, because...
Because you didn't contact your kids for a long time,
no,
did you?
no.
But then you came across them in a strange situation?
Well, you know, coincidence is often unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah, I was in New Zealand and quite happy. And at dinner, when I asked for the bill, somebody said to me, the waiter said, your bill's been taken care of. The gentleman who paid your bill says, a great fan of yours. And I said, oh yeah. Where is he then? And so I went into the restaurant, and there was this very tall, good-looking, very imposing, youngish man there. And you know, when you're an actor in a situation like that, like a journalist, you have to have a certain amount of effrontery. And so I said to him, "Oh yes, hello." I said, "Is your name Fleming?" He said, "No, my name is Baker, Piers Baker. I'm your son."
Wow, jaw-dropping moment.
I was a bit impressed, yeah.
Your relationship with your dad was kind of quite distant because he travelled, he was a sailor.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering whether there's any sort of history repeating itself in that situation. Do you think you kind of compartmentalise a little bit your parts of your life?
I don't know. Certainly I didn't know my father very well because he was away a lot as a merchant sailor. You know, when I think about my father now, of course, I'm very much more sympathetic because...
But you weren't then?
Well, no, I wasn't then because he made my mother unhappy, and my mother was adorable, and therefore I sided with my mother in this kind of, in their tensions. And so my mother took great refuge in her passionate belief in religion, and she was consoled by religion, which is the function of religion, is to console us in our grief.
Well, I'm hoping we're going to talk about that in a moment, Tom, and we're going to be talking more about religion and your motivation for becoming a monk.
Yes.
So
All right.
join us later.
All right.
Oh, look forward to that. I do envy Kate a trip to Glen Bogle, my favourite destination every Saturday night. Can't wait for that to come back. And you can hear more of the interview with Tom Baker later in the show when...
Now, thank goodness, it's back for a breath of fresh air to the wilds of Scotland, where Kate Sanderson has been talking to Monarch of the Glen new boy, Tom Baker, about a rather surprising aspect of his past.
Tom, you became a monk at the age of 15.
Yes.
Why?
Well,
It's an unusual thing to do, isn't it?
well, you said, isn't it? I mean, you mean, wasn't it? No, it wasn't at all unusual in the days. I'm talking about 55 years ago. It was actually very common, like lots of imaginative kids. I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to do something. And, of course, it was very easy. People, priests and nuns and monks and brothers of all description were coming round schools, holding out all, you know, the offers of glory, really. And so it was quite common. So I put my hand up, and the fellow said, "I'm looking for heroes." I put my hand up. If he said, I'm looking for members of the, you know, the Foreign Legion, I'd have put my hand up. Anything, you know,
Just to be somebody.
To be somebody. And so it went
you
on
went
like that.
into this with
So
your
when I
eyes
went
open
in
and
with
a
this
sort of-
bravely, I went in bravely to be poor. I was poor, chaste. Well, you know, at 14 or 15, a sheltered life in Liverpool. You know, I wasn't exactly promiscuous in any way at all. And as for obedience, everyone kicked me around. So when I got there I was used to
quite
it
normal.
all. It was quite normal, except, you know, we wore long gowns, and it was a very ferocious existence, and there were long silences, which might explain the fact that I'm so garrulous now.
When you renounced your faith and you left the monastery, was that something difficult to do? Did you feel guilty given your upbringing?
Well, yes, I did feel guilty. I mean, guilt actually is a very, very common kind of emotion, isn't it? I didn't actually lose my faith as I left the monastery. I left the monastery because I was falling apart with unhappiness. And then I joined in the army. I suddenly realized if sex and drinking and swearing and telling jokes and supporting football teams and generally being raucous, if that was the devil, then I found that I liked the devil, you know. I felt I had been deluding myself.
Before?
Well, I felt that the whole thing I had deluded myself, that this was all an illusion.
Do you think, Tom, you'll ever have a conversion on your deathbed? Do you ever sort of think that you might come full circle? It could happen.
Yeah, you're talking like a television interviewer now. I think actually if there were two cameras, if there was a close-up here, I think I might make a waggish death and be brave. But no, I can expect Although, you know, I mean, if there is a God, it's his duty. He created me. He wanted to love me, and his son died for me, they told me. And so, if there is any kind of, and I did lots of things that promised me eternal life. And so, maybe if he's there and I'm wrong, he'll show me some mercy.
So you'll be covered out both ways then.
Well, that's right. I mean, otherwise, I think I'll stand the knock, really.
But you do have this kind of forward-looking view of your death, don't you? Because you bought your own tombstone. What's all that about, eh?
Well, I bought a tombstone because I had an opportunity to buy an old gravestone, and the church needed the money, and I couldn't really. Well, I said, if you need the money, I'll buy that old stone off you. And it just happened the day afterwards was an engraver there. This is like a Dickens story. Chink, chink, chink. So I said, yeah, put my name on it. So there it is. It says Tom Baker, 1933 dash, and it's my gravestone.
There was a time in your life when you did actually try to take your own life.
Yeah.
How do you look on that when you look back now?
Well, I mean, I was so utterly miserable at that time, which is a long time ago, isn't it? An awful long time ago. And I was looking after someone who was desperately ill and was made desperately unhappy by his illness. He didn't like me either. And
This is your father-in-law.
Yeah, I used to try and make him comfortable, you know. And it was a terrible irony in his life that the person he disliked so intensely should finally be the only one who could bring him any physical comfort. Anyway, I got so unhappy, which I've written about, and yet people write and say, I read that suicide attempt of yours and fell about laughing. But I thought...
Well, you did kind of sort of write it off as in a sort of way that could happen any day, and you only kind of got over it because you got woken up.
I woke up, and instead of saying, Christ, I've died, I thought I'm still alive. After having taken whatever, 20 or 34 Tufrenol tablets. And not only that, I mean, the humiliating thing was that I thought, irreversibly constipated. That was the amazing thing.
The effect of the pills on you.
Well, that was the effect of the pills on me. So that was a terrible humiliation as well. You know, the utter banality and futility of my self-dramatizing gesture, you know.
Do you think that's what it was? Was
well,
it a bit of a...
I can't think of anything else. Yes, I mean, why should I have done something so silly when I was so young and full of life and vitality? But, you know, people do that sort of thing.
How do you look at your life when you look back on it now?
Well, when I look back on it, I'm amazed, you know, because it all seems to me to be this kind of, like everyone else, I suppose, a series of accidents. I've been extremely lucky. I've been extremely lucky in, you know, somehow getting to this age, being lucky in my career. It's a kind of as if somehow or other fate, for some dark comical reason of its own, has picked me out to be lucky, you know?
And long may that continue.
A jolly boy.
And looking forward to Doctor Who appearing in Glen Bogle. That'll shake them up there. They need a good shaking up.